In bed, in the shower, day or night. She whispered. I'll do anything. Hire me, human, let me stay. Rain hammered the windows of the tiny cargo apartment as Captain Rourke sat hunched over a cracked datapad. His ship, the Wayfarer's End, had seen better days. The fuel reserves were low, and a fine for unauthorized docking on the station at Karath 3 had left him nearly broke. He was a man who had done his share of smuggling, but never of people. Yet here she was. The alien girl sat on the floor, back straight, her thin, iridescent dress clinging to damp skin that shimmered like moonlight. She looked far too young to be on a station like Karath 3, and far too desperate to be speaking the words she just had. In bed, in the shower, day or night. She had whispered in his ear at the docking bay gate, trembling. I'll do anything, hire me, human. Let me stay. Her voice hadn't been seductive. It had been frightened. A whisper of survival, not temptation. That was the only reason Rourke hadn't walked away. What's your name? He asked now, setting down the datapad. Lyra, she said softly, of the Kahaniyan line. Her large, opal eyes darted to the floor. I can work. I can clean. I can cook. I can keep you company if you want. Just don't send me back out there. Rourke rubbed his face. I don't take passengers, especially ones who talk like that. You think I want to talk like this? She snapped suddenly, her voice breaking. My contract expired 2 cycles ago. The station's overseer says I'm non-productive stock. They'll send me to the outer rings, to the pits. Rourke had heard of the pits. It was where unwanted laborers were auctioned to off-world gangs. Few came back. He stared at her. She wasn't lying. Lyra crawled a little closer, her hands trembling. Please, she whispered. I'll sleep on the floor. I'll scrub the hull with my bare hands. I just don't want to die in the dark. Something twisted in Rourke's gut. He'd been in that dark once, years ago, as a conscript during the war. He knew the look of someone about to be fed to the machine. Fine, he muttered. You can stay until we reach Mirren's gate. After that, you're on your own. Her head lifted, her expression breaking into relief so raw it almost hurt to look at. Thank you, she breathed. Life aboard the Wayfarer's End. The days that followed were quiet but strange. Lyra proved true to her word. She scrubbed the floors, fixed the ship's clogged filters, and even recalibrated the engine diagnostics with an ease that surprised Rourke. You've done this before, he said, watching her from the cockpit as she typed in commands no human could memorize so quickly. I used to maintain transports for the Guild, she said without looking at him. Before they sold my contract. He didn't press. But at night, as the ship drifted in jump space, he'd sometimes hear her crying softly in the tiny bunk he'd given her. One evening, she brought him a cup of spiced tea she'd brewed from some dried alien plant he couldn't pronounce. I used to make this for my sisters, she murmured. He took a sip. It was warm, bittersweet. You're not just a mechanic, he said. No, she whispered. I was an engineer. And a singer. And she trailed off, looking at her hands. Now I'm just a contract. Something inside Rourke hardened at that. He'd seen too many like her, people reduced to assets. He'd sworn never to take part in it again. And yet here she was, on his ship, clinging to the same hope he once had. The shower incident. It was on the 5th day that the incident happened. The ship's water filters cracked, spraying recycled water everywhere. Lyra, half-drenched, scrambled to shut the valve while alarms blared. Rourke waded in to help. She slipped, falling hard against him. For a moment they were tangled in the spray, her eyes wide, lips parted in shock. She stammered. Easy, he said, steadying her. You're going to hurt yourself. She pulled back, trembling. You don't want me? Rourke blinked. Want you? You haven't asked, she whispered. Most do. They take what they want first, then decide if we're useful. He felt sick. I'm not most. Her eyes shone. For the first time, he thought he saw something like trust. Then why? She asked. Because you're not cargo, he said flatly. You're a person. She covered her mouth and let out a sound halfway between a sob and a laugh. No one said that to me in 3 cycles. A dangerous stop. By the time they reached Mirren's gate, Rourke had already decided he wasn't dropping her off. Not there. Not anywhere like there. But the wayfarers and needed fuel and parts, and Mirren's gate was the only station in range. The moment they docked, he sensed trouble. Too many eyes on his ship. Too many uniforms with guild insignia. Stay aboard, he told Lyra. Lock the hatch. Don't open it for anyone but me. She nodded, her hands clenched. Rourke strode out to negotiate the refuel. But halfway through, a familiar voice cut through the crowd. Captain Rourke, you're harboring guild property. He turned. The overseer from Karath. 3 stood there, flanked by guards. She's not your property, Rourke said. Her contract is expired. She belongs to the guild until death or reclamation. Rourke's jaw tightened. Not anymore. They drew weapons. The escape. He fought his way back to the ship, blaster fire hissing past. He heard Lyra's voice through the comm. Captain, they're cutting through the hatch. Fire up the engines, he barked. I'm not certified. Do it. The wayfarers' end roared to life, just as Rourke dove through the hatch. Lyra was at the controls, trembling but focused, her opal eyes locked on the readouts. I've got it, she whispered. I've got it. The ship tore free of the docking clamps, spinning into the void as alarms blared behind them. When the stars steadied again, Lyra collapsed against the console, breathing hard. You did good, Rourke said quietly. She looked up at him, tears streaming down her cheeks. They'll come after us, she whispered. Let them, he said. A new contract. Later, in the dim glow of the cockpit, she approached him. I don't understand, she murmured. Why are you helping me? He stared at the stars. Because someone once helped me when I was where you are now. She hesitated. I don't have anywhere to go. You can stay, he said. On my crew. As an engineer. Real pay. No contracts. No anything else. She blinked. You'd hire me? As a person? As a person, he said firmly. Her lips trembled. Even in bed, in the shower, day or night, I said those things. I thought it was the only way to live. You don't have to say them anymore, Rourke said. Not here. Slowly, as if testing the weight of her new freedom, she reached out and touched his hand. Then, Captain, she whispered, I'm yours. Not as property, but as crew. Welcome aboard, Lyra, he said softly. Epilogue. 2 souls adrift. Weeks turned into months. Together, they refitted the Wayfarer's End, patching holes in both metal and hearts. Lyra began to sing again while she worked, her voice a haunting echo of her homeworld. Rourke found himself smiling more, sleeping better. The ship felt less like a graveyard and more like a home. One night, as they drifted through a nebula of silver and blue, Lyra stood beside him at the viewport. I used to think I was nothing, she said quietly. But now I think maybe I'm someone again. You've always been someone, he said.